This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
It's good to be back with you to recap every Sunday, and Drew Brees, our new teammate, joins us. Of course, Mike Florio in the conversation as well. You know why this is the best part of our Sunday? Because the producers don't control the time.
I love it.
We are on our own, so we run the show here. So I'm going to start with Drew, and just what was it like to not only not be a part of what the Saints were doing on a Sunday in the NFL for the first time in 15 years, but to watch 8 games go on at once and then 4 late games and do a TV show in front of millions of people?
It's been a crazy day, to say the least. The war room experience is pretty interesting. You got all those games going on. It's a little information overload, but it was fun. It was a little weird watching my Saints not being out there, but really impressed with the way they played today.
Tony, did you notice anything week 1 that's first Sunday with a very odd and different preseason than we've seen in the past?
I did, and I was concerned about this. I talked to a bunch of my coaching friends, and, hey, this is a new way to do things, and, yeah, we got to keep people healthy and can't play much in the preseason. I saw a lot of what I would call bad football. Penalties, off-timing, bad throws.
Minnesota, right?
Minnesota, 12 penalties. Yeah. You kill yourself. Punters dropping snaps, just things that you're not used to seeing. And I think it's a lack of sharpness from not playing.
Mike?
Well, I think the return of fans is something we can't overlook. In every stadium, it was a full-capacity crowd. Keenan Allen of the Chargers told me that he got goosebumps going into hostile territory as the bus was pulling in. Just the idea that the people are back, the fans are back. That may have had something to do with some of the false starts for the Vikings in Cincinnati. They didn't have to hear anybody last year disrupting their rhythm.
And you know what's weird, Mike? Last year was the first time in NFL history that the road team had more wins than the home team. 8 road teams won the Sunday afternoon games, more than home teams won on Sunday afternoon. All right, let's get started, and we'll deal with the elephant in the room and Green Bay and New Orleans and what the offense looked like to you as you watched it with Jameis Winston in charge.
It looked great. First thing I noticed was just how dominant the offensive line was and their ability to run the football. It felt like it was just chunk after chunk. And knowing that they were in Jacksonville, obviously displaced from New Orleans at this point, but 100 degrees on the field, a lot of humidity. You talk about, starters not playing a lot of snaps, especially probably in Green Bay's position, where when New Orleans possesses the ball for 22 minutes in the first half, right, and it's a war of attrition at some point. This is what Sean Payton would always say. You wear them down, and to get to the point where, man, they don't really want to tackle you anymore. And so you just saw chunk after chunk, first down after first down on offense. And then Jameis was extremely efficient and capped it off with, one of these deep passes to Deontay Harris, who I know the Saints are really excited about as a deep threat. So it was really a lot to be encouraged by. Can't say enough about the defense as well, shutting down Aaron Rodgers in that offense.
I was impressed with Sean because I know how much he likes to throw the ball, and I'm sure he had some things they felt they could do, but they could not stop them running, and he stayed with it. He didn't feel the need to, hey, I've got to throw these many passes or whatever, and then Jameis was efficient when they did. Other side of the ball, though, I was shocked at what I saw from Green Bay. I'm not used to seeing Aaron Rodgers play like that.
Mike Florio, for narrative and conversation, after everything that happened in the offseason, 38-3 just gave you a lot to talk about this week from the Green Bay side.
Oh, absolutely. And when you consider the fact that Aaron Rodgers disengaged entirely from the team from the end of the last season until the very start of training camp, didn't work out with his receivers on his own, wasn't around for any of the offseason program, at some point that potentially has a factor when it's time to find your rhythm and hit your stride and make things happen. You can't just pick up where you left off if you've had nothing to do with any of your teammates while you're figuring out what you're going to do with your future. And let me just say this about Jameis Winston. I've been saying all offseason that if Sean Payton can iron out those moments where Jameis Winston tries to do more than what he's physically capable of doing, because that's when the wheels have come off for him in the past, all the way back to the Rose Bowl game against Oregon, when he does the pratfall and the referee falls down, he would try to do things he can't do. If you can get him to not do things he can't do, he can be great.
But I think he understands, hey, we've got a good running game. I've got a good offensive line. We've got a great defense. And he played like that today, Drew.
He did. And I think that every young player has to go through this at some point, and some figure it out later than others. But I think Jameis coming to the New Orleans Saints last year, having a chance to be in the system for a year, having a chance to work with me, work with Sean, work with others, I really feel like that helped equip him in a way to have an even better understanding of what it takes to win, and more importantly, what it takes not to lose games in the NFL.
You told me it struck you how much he loves football as you were around him last year in a season where, until your injury, he didn't play all that much.
He's a football junkie. He's a gym rat. Right? He's really everything that you would want in a quarterback from the perspective of his work ethic and his enthusiasm and the way that he approaches practice, and just always a smile on his face, walking in the building, having a good time. I mean, he's like a kid playing football, right? Which is, in many cases, what we all talk about. Let's not remember that this is a game and we're meant to have fun. Even though it's a serious business, let's not lose sight of just going out there and having fun.
And I saw that in Tampa. They didn't win as much as they wanted to. The coaches loved him. The players in Tampa loved him. The equipment men loved him. Everybody around the building loved him. And now you start playing well, eliminate some of those turnovers with that personality. It could be fun.
One last point here. Back to Green Bay for a second for both of you. Do you think no preseason impacted Aaron Rodgers in the way he played today?
I think it absolutely did. And as Mike Florio said, no off-season program. So if you don't get it in the off-season and you don't play preseason games, how are you going to go out there and play efficiently?
I think the drama affected Aaron Rodgers and the Packers more so than the lack of reps. I just think that with maybe the indecision or just nobody understanding exactly what this means, not only for this year but for the future.
Right. When
that gets put in question, I think it just throws everybody off. You know, when you look at the way that they played last year, from week to week, because I would pull up their film and watch them. They were doing incredible things. Aaron was playing lights out. They just felt like they were not only on the same page, but there was this chemistry and there was this mojo that they had. And certainly you watched the game today, and you
didn't see that.
You have no idea where that went.
You did see Jordan Love finally for the first time. At least he got to play. I think he was 5 of 7, Mike, throwing the ball. Mike, I'm going to come to you first on Arizona and Tennessee. Tennessee also, by the way, was a team where the quarterback didn't play in the preseason in Tannehill, and their offense looked sluggish. But the offense I want to talk about is walking away with your impressions of Arizona.
Well, and I don't know what's worse, not playing at all in the preseason or playing a little bit and looking horrible like the Cardinals did. Kyler Murray in that game against the Chiefs, it was a disaster.
Yeah, that's right.
And they reset. The game doesn't count. And he's just spectacular. If he's healthy and stays healthy. And last year, I constantly praised him for avoiding contact. For him, it's critical. Avoid contact when you run the ball. Know when to get down. Know when to get out of bounds. If he can stay healthy, he can have games like this every week. The challenge is always to stay unpredictable as you get more film and you figure out what they're doing differently this year. But if he can move like he did today, and the key to that is staying healthy, they can go wire to wire and they can be a factor. Now, they still may be 4th place in the NFC West, but who knows? Maybe all 4 teams in that division get to the playoffs this year.
Maybe not. Tony, can you defend Kyler Murray? Because you can look at film all week, but he may do something that you've never seen him do.
You have to have a very fast front seven, no question about it. They've got a lot of weaponry at the wide out positions. They can stretch you. Their defense, they've got playmakers on that side of the ball. This was the most impressive win that I saw today.
Mike made a great point, and that is one of my coaches at one point told me, what's the most important job of a quarterback? It made me think there for a second. He said to be available, to stay healthy, to always be there for your team. And when I watch Kyler Murray play, he avoids the unnecessary hits. He's not going to let you get a clean hit on him because he understands the most important thing for him and this offense and that team is for him to be available, because he brings an element that most offenses don't have because of his ability to get outside the pocket, scramble, make plays with both his feet and his legs. But when I look at that offense, it's a bit of organized chaos because there's so much movement in what head coach Cliff Kingsbury is able to do. You've got guys going in motion. You've got all these misdirection plays. And then at times you don't know who has the ball. And if Kyler Murray has it, then there's a lot of good things that can happen because you got weapons to spread it around to.
We talked, I think, some point during the offseason, if he can just do what Russell Wilson has done in terms of smart, efficient, effective running. I mean, how many direct shots do we ever see Russell Wilson take? He's the one who has been able to be continually mobile and scramble and gain yards and slide. The baseball slide is so natural to him. Or get him, and obviously Kyler can do that as well, or get himself out of bounds.
No question. And, you know, we were commenting today, there was a lot of play. He wouldn't have been down in touch football because nobody got their hands on it.
It's true.
I like that. Chandler Jones had 5 sacks, by the way. Syracuse's Chandler Jones leads the NFL in sacks after week 1. I just wanted to...
On pace for
75 to 85. 85. He was on pace for 200 plus when he had 3 in the first quarter. Yeah. Well, welcome to sitting next to the nerd in the war room.
That was quick math. That was quick math. That was
played
good.
well for them. Isaiah Simmons, I saw him play at Clemson. He was a guy who could rush the passer, defend plays 30 yards downfield, make tackles sideline to sideline, and he's doing it all for them too.
Like Florio, the Buffalo performance surprised me. I was watching the preseason game with Buffalo and Chicago, and they were so good against Chicago that one half at Soldier Field, like, hey, the Bills are going to be the team to beat in the AFC, and they looked good from the first quarter, and then after that, their offense got shut down by Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it really was amazing to see it. Now, Josh Allen said after the game, it's just one game, can't panic. Got 16 more. Past year's 15, even have an extra one to turn it around this year. But all that build-up, playing a home game with the fans there, it's amazing that the Steelers kind of kept it together. And this is Mike Tomlin, classic Mike Tomlin. Go ahead and underestimate the Steelers. Go ahead and assume they're going to lose. They're going to show up. They're going to play. It's going to be physical. They're going to keep it close. And they're going to make things happen, whether it's the block punt, whether it's the defense stiffening after the long kickoff return and holding them to a field goal. Just little things like that accumulate. Tomlin is the master of making that happen. And the next thing you know, Steelers are ahead. Steelers win the game, and the Bills are wondering what the hell happened.
Everyone loves the underdog role. And it's probably been a long time since the Steelers have been in that position.
True.
You know, nobody was really talking about them preseason. Right. It was the Browns. It was the Ravens. It was the Bills.
Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, Tennessee Titans.
Somebody talking about the Chargers.
Right. And where were the Steelers in this, right? And for Mike Tomlin and that team, he probably sat there and thought to himself, this is perfect. Yeah. This is perfect. We're just flying under the radar. We're building our team. We got this chip on our shoulder, and just wait till week 1. And they came out and showed everybody.
And I think what we're seeing, too, we saw Dallas play on offense against Tampa and not let those rushers be a factor, getting rid of the ball quick. Well, they studied Tampa all year, as people are going to do. People have studied Buffalo now. They got all these big plays last year, and Josh Allen is throwing these laser beams. Mike Tomlin went into that game saying, we're going to make them methodically go. We're not going to give up the big plays, and Buffalo's going to have to adjust. People are going to play them like that.
Baseball Hall of Fame had their induction ceremony in the middle of the week in September. Why, I don't know. Mr. November went in, Derek Jeter. Mr. October, of course, is Reggie Jackson. Yeah. Mr. September is Patrick Mahomes. Florio, 11-0 in September, 35 touchdowns, no interceptions. And today, they needed all the Mahomes magic to come back against a Cleveland team that looks pretty good.
If they could ever play 60 minutes the way that they do when they decide to turn it on, they would score 100 points in a game. Because they'll just go dry. And you get like, what's really wrong with the Chiefs? They play down to the level of the competition. Not that they had to go down very far against the Browns today, but they find that gas pedal. That's why late in the Super Bowl, when for any other team we would have said this is over, there was still that kind of creeping, nagging sense that they were going to do it. It's because they do. We saw it today. We think it's over, and it's not. As long as Mahomes is there, it's never over.
It really is a belief that you have. We had that with Peyton Manning. We've got 4 minutes left in Tampa. Tampa's got the best defense in football. We're down 21, and you think you're going to win. Right. And that's what the Chiefs have. Cleveland was dominating that game. The Chiefs could not stop them on defense. We're saying this is ugly. And the Chiefs come back and win it because Mahomes makes a couple of just unbelievable plays.
Cleveland had 457 yards. Baker threw for 321, only had the one pick at the end when they were trying to drive. It felt like Cleveland was going to, okay, you got us in the playoffs, but we're ready to roll this year. And then Kansas City showed up in the last.
The other point, too, not only do they have the chance to always come back and win no matter the deficit, but when is the last time you've ever seen the Chiefs make mistakes at the end of the game that lose you games? Yeah. Mm-hmm. They don't. They won't turn the ball over. They don't. They just know how to play those situations and those games. Just give us a chance to win. Put ourselves in a position. Don't give it away, because in most cases the other team will.
Drew, in your film study on Mondays, Did you have time to watch this segment and the speed round of this segment, or no?
No.
So you can experience. You can hear Florio. Do we have speed round music this year, or are we doing this a cappella?
We always have to have music.
Speed round. Is this the same DJ who's at SoFi?
No.
No, it's not. Okay. Well, here we go. Speed round. This is just your quick thoughts on what you saw. We're going to go speed round, young QB edition here. Mike, I'll go to you first. Joe Burrow.
Hey, impressive. All the talk about the concern with his knee and would he be confident having the knee exposed. I thought he was spectacular. The decision to change the play in overtime, busted the thing open, won the game for the Bengals. He looks great. He played great, and he's on track. It's good for him.
That would be my word, too, Mike, confidence. You can just feel this team believing in him, and he made the plays to win the game.
That's right. The rules were a one-word description, and Tony nailed this thing the whole
Sorry.
time. No, it's okay.
Sorry.
No, but just to make it fair for everybody else.
My one word is sorry.
Tony dominated this thing so much. We got to change up the rules a little bit. What'd you think of Burrow?
I was really impressed. The one word I think of with him is poise.
Yep.
And I even go back to his senior year at LSU. Imagine the expectations from week to week as they made their way through that season. And yet this guy just continued to deliver and deliver with such just poise and grace and just everything you'd want in a starting quarterback. And I see that right now. And obviously a tough road to come back from an injury like that, but to play the way he did today. And by the way, the pieces around him continue to get better.
Yeah.
He and that team are only going to get better.
Jamar Chase had 101 yards. He could see the ball without the stripes. He was talking about that as a problem from college. It wasn't a problem today. All right, we have to go quicker, guys. We've got things to do.
Oh, speed round.
Yeah, so
right.
I'll give you the easy completion. Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Your thoughts today?
You know what? He looked like a veteran quarterback today. I've raved about his arm strength. I've raved about the potential and just all the intangibles and such. But at the end of the day, you got to make tight throws and you got to make clutch throws. And he did both those things today.
Special is the word I'm going to use. He is, I think his future is just, the ceiling is so high.
The best. A coach texted me after the game that he's the best of all the young quarterbacks in the league. All of them. Throw them all in the bucket. Herbert's the best.
Unfortunately, we had to go to song 2 on the speed round because our contestants didn't get the idea. Jalen Hurts. Mike, I'll go to you first.
Hey, effective. I mean, it's not like they were playing a great team, but it's effective. They got the win. It was one of the few wins that stood out on the calendar for them. They got it, and now they can try to build on it.
I'm going to say swagger. I saw this guy running around, a little pep in his step, confidence, hollering at guys on the sideline. Swagger.
I'm going to say winner. Same thing. They believe in him, and he believes in himself.
I'll say first place, the only one in the AFC to win. Tua Tagovailoa, first place also, only win out of the AFC East.
Efficient. Not the highlight reel plays, but he made the plays that you need to make to win a game.
Mike, I'll twist this for you. What about Mac Jones?
Disappointing because all that matters is whether or not you get the win. He didn't get the win. It wasn't his fault. He didn't fumble the ball, but they didn't get the win, and that's all he's going to care about.
But they should have, because he handed it to the running back who should have held on to it so they could kick the game-winning field goal. So I'm saying the Dolphins got lucky because they had an errant throw, turned the ball over when they shouldn't have, to give the Patriots a chance to go win that game.
Isn't it great? Post-game, we lose as a team. It's fine. Now we're in TV. And they should have won. It was the running back's fault.
Quarterback did his job.
Hey, can I ask Drew a question?
Yeah.
Can I ask Drew a question?
Yes.
What do you say to the guy after that? You're the quarterback, and I'm curious. What do you say to him after he fumbles the ball in that spot?
Well, you tell him before the play, hold on to this ball with your life.
Which you wonder if Mac told him that.
Yeah.
Young guy. All right, we have 30 seconds. Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson?
They're going to be fine. Don't panic.
Incomplete. Correct. Too early.
That's good. That's a good one, Mike.
I tell him, keep slinging it. You got nothing to lose.
Trevor slung it 50 times. That's it. Welcome. You want to come back next week?
Yeah, sure.
Or you want to go back to the league and get hit?
And get hit?
Yeah. We'll see you next week. Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.